Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Today I am privileged to have with me Karen and Mr. Yeo, both of whom have a long history with Singapore. And today we are going to have a conversation about Singapore as they remember it and how they see Singapore today. So thank you so much for being a part of this project, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So maybe Mr. Yeo, let's start with you. What kind of memories do you have about Singapore growing up? A little bit about your background. Where did you live originally? Where did you come from? Just a little background about the area where you lived. What are some of the distinctive memories that you have that actually impacted your life at a later stage? If you could just share some of that with us.
Okay, I'm actually a retiree. I'm now 71 years old. And so far, if I can recall, actually, my late father actually came to Singapore in maybe around 1947. And he came here with uncle who brought him here. Then they worked as a laborer. And then after collecting saving for maybe about 6 years, he managed to buy some boat ticket for my mom. She came here alone with my elder sis, 12 years old, and my elder brother, who is then 7 years old. And I was the one, actually, the third in the family. I actually born in Singapore. And I remember that I was told I actually born in the Wayang Street where I stayed initially, but I couldn't recall how does it look like, because I think I was only about 1 year old or plus. Then by about 3 years old, we were forced to leave the place, and then we were asked to leave the place because someone else want to rent the whole unit, the whole floor. So we actually found a place, my parents found a place in Hong Kong Street. Hong Kong Street in Chinese is Xianggan. Actually, translated in English is Hong Kong Street.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas the street that I stay in Mandarin was initially where I was born. We call it Si Fang, but translated to English is a Wayang Street. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I grew up in Hong Kong Street maybe for about 6-7 years. So what I can recall is that actually it's very close to the Singapore River. We walk maybe about 5-10 minutes. We can actually reach Boat Quay. And then if we walk slightly further, we can reach the bridge where we can actually see a lot of activity over there. And at night, evening time.
So what kind of activity did you see around the bridge?
Yeah, around the bridge, actually we can see a lot of boats coming to the riverside, unload, maybe like rice, rubber, all these things.
So were these small boats or were they ships?
There are big boats.
Big boats.
And then,
okay.
And then maybe there are also small boats that actually come along, maybe unload some of their goods, and then they will ship to somewhere else.
They are more like big bumboats.
Yeah.
Oh, like
Those are big
bumboats.
boats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
They
Okay,
have rice
okay.
and all. Because Boat Quay used to be warehouse for rice and rubber and all. Yeah.
Oh, it used to be a warehouse.
Those today what we see as like pubs and eatery
Pubs and
place
restaurants,
used
yeah.
to be warehouse. And all these bumboats will carry rice, rubber. When we have what they call coolies then, the laborers will
Yeah.
carry the sacks of rice and all up to all these warehouses.
I see. And then all the distribution of the grains to the rest of Singapore was through these warehouses.
Yes.
So they were basically the holding
Places for
I see.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Interesting. Karen, very briefly, if you could very quickly take us through your upbringing and your childhood, and how different was it from or similar was it from Mr. Yeo's?
Okay, when I was born right far away at Changi Village, which is very far from where, to us at that point of time, was very far, because at time the best transportation that we have is like a bus, and there's only 1 or 2 buses that will go up to town. Where I stay is more like a kampong place, where
Okay.
at Changi Village. I can walk to the beach where they have mangrove, and can see houses from far, Kelong on stilts. And that's where we have all the boats as well that goes to Pulau Tlau Ubin. Yeah. Today is very much changed, because it used to be zinc houses and a lot of fields where we all play. I guess
Can you
today-
describe the fields a little bit? So, and which part? So the fields were further away from the beach, or were they close to the beach?
They were further away from the beach. The beach is just like sand. The fields is just not any plantation fields, just like more grass ground where we can run around as children. And we have very simple swings and all that children goes to play. And of course, people stay in zinc houses where they can have chickens and all running around. The wet market then wasn't like today. It was just like a pavement where we have small stores being set up. And they have stores with like where the chickens will be in cages where people can buy, and you can even pick the chicken that you want, and then they will slaughter the chicken
In front of you?
Yeah, you can choose to.
You can choose to have them slaughtered. Okay.
Yeah, they will
Okay,
have that
interesting.
done, and how they have hot water and remove the feathers and things like that. Today, I don't think we see that anymore in our markets. So it's a bit different. And Changi Point used to have, because there were air base there, and there were all this, although they're zinc houses, but they have shops that cater a lot of, for, how do I say, the English, the British that were here, they have shops.
The British Army.
Yeah, they were here.
So
they
this
have-
was the time when Singapore was a colony?
Okay. I was born in 1962, so that time I was very young. But I
Young,
stayed in
yeah.
that place. But when come to 1965, we're independent. But I guess the shop still stays and all. They will still have some foreigners. They are there, so they cater a bit more for the locals as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So I go to a school that is called Tolopaku Primary School, which is an English school, quite, how do I say, quite far away in somewhere, because that time Tolopaku or the Changi Beach wasn't like with so many public transports and etc. So that was about the one English school there. We have Chinese school as well. The school were very simple at that point of time. It's just like a small house with a few rooms, and but not my school. My school is still like a very simple school with, how do I say, a long building where you have classrooms, but it's quite different from today where you have 2-3 stories house. And
So this was a single story?
yeah, this was a single story building.
Okay.
Yeah.
This Lumina Vitae episode is brought to you by the Bloom Fund, managed by TRCL. The Bloom Fund is an intergenerational initiative dedicated to bridging generations and fostering meaningful connections between seniors and younger communities. By promoting shared experiences and mutual understanding, the fund aims to reduce social isolation, cultivate empathy, and build a more inclusive and compassionate society. Through strategic partnerships and ongoing research, the Bloom Fund continues to champion innovative arts programs that empower individuals to grow together across ages. So the school was like a primary and secondary?
No, it's a primary school.
A primary school, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it wasn't, I think at that point of time, they didn't have that many schools around, and it was quite far away at Changi Point, quite compared to the city and all, but we do have a village, like a small group of people over there. Then, of course, with the British, there was the old Changi Hospital, which is very much up with the old colonial building kind of thing.
And is the old Changi Hospital still there?
The building is still there, but it's
Okay.
no longer
A hospital.
hospital.
Okay, so what is in that building now?
I think it's not, as far as I know, it's not really being used at
Okay.
the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And so, where did you move to after the Changi Village? Or you were living there till
Oh.
you finished school and... No.
I actually moved to Canberra because my father was a driver for the British at a point of time which is quite far away, and we stay in house, I wouldn't say house, like a lot of accommodation where it's all the British colony houses at that point of
So,
time.
okay, interesting. So both of you had a very diverse
Quite
growing
different.
up, very
Quite
different from each other. Yeah. Mr. Yeo, I remember you mentioning something very interesting about the firecrackers that were, especially during Chinese New Year, along the Singapore River, how they were lit and why they were lit, and what kind of an experience was that for you?
Yeah, and that is actually a memory that I cannot forget because it's since my childhood. Actually, almost every year, all the Chinese trader usually they own the shop along this South Bridge Road, along this street like Hong Kong Street, Wayang Street, Carpenter Street. Most of them are the Chinese trader. Then ground floor usually are their shops, and the second and third floor usually either they stay there on the second floor and then they rent out on the third floor. So when come to Chinese New Year, they used to celebrate their business. They want to show people that actually they do well. And also the other thing is the Chinese custom usually, New Year Eve, they will light the firecracker to chase away the devil.
Yeah,
Bad
they want
omen, yeah.
all the good
Bad
luck to
things,
come
yeah.
with
Yeah,
them.
correct. Yeah.
So what I can still remember is that we stay at the third floor. They have the firecracker from third floor go down all the way to the ground floor.
Any other memory that you could recall about your time living around the Singapore River?
Actually, a memory I can recall was there's a big fire. And I think, if I'm not wrong, that time I was maybe just primary one. And then my brother actually bring me to Great World City. That time, the old Great World City, and there are a lot of cinema over there.
It was an amusement park, Great World City.
Amusement and quite
And
a lot of
cinemas.
cinema over there. So he brought me to actually want to watch one of the movie. Then we were there in the afternoon, and then suddenly we find this big fire in front, and a lot of firemen there trying to fight the fire, and then the police actually block us, cannot go through anymore because the fire is so big that you can see everything in
So was it a building that caught fire?
the whole village actually.
The whole village?
Yes.
So it was a
on fire.
kampong at the
The
time.
kampong, yes. And after that, actually, they pulled out the whole thing. But luckily, I understand the next day that luckily all the people went out to work. Nobody, no casualty, no people died.
So was it sabotage or was it someone being irresponsible?
I don't know. Which I don't know. I'm so sorry.
But at that point of time, because a lot of houses are like wooden houses,
Wooden
attached,
houses.
and
So
zinc houses.
someone would have been careless and
Yeah.
okay.
But after that, I think the government pulled down the whole place and then rebuilt. I think that's the first time that we have the HDB flat built. Yeah,
And do you remember what year that was?
I think 62, 63.
62, 63.
Yeah,
You were just born then.
Yes. And talking about cinema, I think last time we have open air cinemas where they
Oh.
just barricade out the place
Yeah.
and there is a big screen. So you just go in, maybe pay 50 cents and then you just sit anywhere on the bench.
What do you think, as far as your memories go, how do you think they will contribute to this project? Because as I mentioned at the start of the conversation, the whole idea is for the younger generation also to be able to listen to these conversations and understand a little more about the history of Singapore and what it was like all those years ago. And when it is someone who has lived those memories, I think it makes it even more special.
For the younger people, I guess they see how Singapore has progressed, a lot of the history. And for the older, we remember how we have played differently, how we have enjoyed our times. Although Singapore was maybe not as developed then, but we still remember the times that we have, the companies and the neighbors, the friends that we have at that point of time. So I guess it will bring back lots of memories that we all share and enjoy what we have.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's your time growing up and you're fortunate to see how the country has
Yes.
evolved. So for you, I think you're in a very special place because you were a part of Singapore history when it wasn't developed, and then you saw it evolve, and you're able to see the modernization of the country and how it's become a first world country. So I think you're in a very privileged place to be able to do that. So thank you once again, both of you, for giving us your time and sharing your beautiful memories with us. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.